Hello? Oh shit, I got the audio working. Wow, interesting. Let's see. Yeah, qubesos finally working. Oh, it's really laggy. See if that fixes the screen. God. Interesting. Yeah, this is qubesos. It's definitely cooking my machine. I can kind of see comments from another screen. Let's see if I can change the bitrate. CPU 52%, baby. That is cooking it. 60. Ooh. Oops, 73%. Yeah, very interesting dynamic. It's using a ton of resources, obviously. Let's see if we can visit a web page. I would not recommend this. Yeah, this shit's getting hot. 69%. 6 frames. I'm getting 14 frames, 6 frames out of 30. 4 frames. Can the white background be changed to black in qubesos? Honestly, don't know. Like, there is actually no white background. It's a browser, so you can only capture what's in scope with qubesos. So if I wanted to do like dark mode, I could. I think. Where is it? Where the fuck is it? Oh, that's why I need extensions. Yeah, the white mode is killing me. But I got the audio working, so that's kind of awesome. It's like everything I do is like adding extra stress. All these extra tabs are killing it. I'm taxing my system. See. And I'm guaranteeing if I found a way to do some form of GPU acceleration, which I don't think you guys are going to be able to see what I pull up because, again, qubesos only captures what's within scope. Maybe because I'm in the same virtual machine, it should. It might. GPU pass-through in this scenario would be excellent because it's doing it all on the CPU. I could add more cores. Run debug mode. It's definitely interesting. It's an interesting setup too. So I don't know if you guys again can see what's on scope. Maybe. I don't think you can. Just gonna move that around. I think it's just gonna show whatever. Yeah, I think it's just going to show whatever you guys see, which is very interesting. It's only try running Black Arch Linux on qubesos. That'd be. I mean, you can. There would just be no point. It would just be better to use Kali Linux. They already have an HVM, which is kind of like an HVM. I mean, you wouldn't see anything I'm doing because it has to be within scope. You can only record with whatever virtual machine do because of qubesos' security posture. That's the only way you can do it. So it's not really possible to not even show that. But there's already an HVM of Kali Linux working, and you do have to do some fuckery around to get it to work properly and be efficient. But I would need slightly more. I think I would need Kali Linux versus Parrot versus Black Arch. I mean, it's subjective at that point. The problem with like Parrot and Kali are based on Debian, so they're gonna have more guides. Black Arch is kind of like it's cool because you can slim it down and it's less bloat. But if you got to remember you're doing bleeding edge. If you run into any issues, I mean, I've never ran into issues with bleeding edge. Let me see if I can give 4 more cores, baby. I don't think there's one better version than the rest. And they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Like Kali is really good because it's got a lot of the default configuration already, and Parrot's really good for Wi-Fi. Like it has a lot of. I mean, all of them have the really good tools. Parrot, but I used Parrot and I had pretty good experience with Wi-Fi. I think they're their own thing, if that makes sense. You kind of like the best option actually is to build a system that is flexible enough yourself, not like Black Arch, but on a distribution that you use the most, that's widely available, that has the most documentation, and do it. You can do it on qubesos. It's actually probably more efficient because you compartmentalize, so you can do lots of containerized research that will make it fundamentally much more not only organized, but if your machine gets compromised, it doesn't compromise your whole system. So there's a security benefit to doing it with qubesos. I just don't think it's always going to be the most efficient. You have to do a few extra steps because due to the qubesos sandboxing in its nature is probably the most, like one of the biggest reasons why security people like it, that want something like really out of the gate. But in reality, there's not much of a difference when you're doing it versus Kali versus Parrot versus Black Arch. Use whatever you're good at and whatever has the best documentation. Kali Linux is going to have the best documentation. It's widely used. More people know about it. Parrot is probably like second. Black Arch is just for people that like Arch Linux. And I'm not saying that as a Black Arch hater or anything, or I like Arch Linux. I just don't think that there's going to be a net positive. Let me see what we cooking at. 60%. All right, we good. We cooking. Man, this thing is screaming. I'm gonna need. Ooh, it's kicking out hot air. I feel like if cooling was doing this, if it had cooling, it might be a better option. And if I had a dedicated GPU or something, it might be an even better option. We can, I mean, EFF, like things are loading. Discord voluntary pushes mandatory age verification despite recent data breach. 7 billion reasons for Facebook to abandon its face recognition plans. Discord voluntary. Homeland Security wants names. It's not surprising. Free surveillance tech still comes at a high and dangerous cost. Yeah, that's true. So stuff like this is pretty. It looks like it's pretty clean when it comes to that. I just need to hear the audio. So if people hear playback, just ignore it.
An even better option.
Okay. And attaching, so because I don't have a built-in microphone, I removed it. Attaching a microphone was pretty easy. You know, one of those things. I mean, that's how easy qubesos is. I wonder what happens when I minimize it. Does it just go to a black screen? Can files from a hacked machine be cleaned before moved to a... What do you mean? Cleaned. And it depends how you got hacked. Like, if you think there's malware via a file, I wouldn't... I mean, doubtful that it you have to execute... Half the time, it depends what you're on. If you're on Windows, then yeah, I would remove any new files that you did. But you can upload files to, like, VirusTotal and turn on Windows Defender. If you're on Windows... I don't know what system you're on, so... That's kind of kind of like a loaded question. Very mysterious. The operating system hack track GNU, like remove can files, like removed steganography. Can files from a hacked machine? You would have to explain what you mean. Like, steganography is just hiding stuff inside a file. Unless they knew how to decode it, then they're safe. But if someone put malware on your machine via file, I wouldn't transfer any of your files. I would transfer only the files that you know. What is hack track GNU Linux? I don't even know what the fuck that is. It's from Indonesia. I'm out. Being a good hacker, though, is... The problem is being a good hacker, it comes with knowing... This has not been updated. Here's my review. Here's my review. Don't use it. The thing is, if you want to be a... Oh, God. This is already screaming... This is already screaming federal honeypot. I'm already... We focus on building a live pen tester and a reliable operating system. I mean, this already kind of exists. We provide the operating system integrated into the flash drive exclusively, or download the tool ISO for free. Yeah, I would not buy this. Anime profile picture. I'm already... I'm assuming it's open source. That'd be kind of retarded not to have open source, free and open source. This free operating system does not have pay, but if you're interested, Hack has more than 200 plus tools ready to use. Like the cleanup that tool danger does. Oh, in that sense. Oh. No, if your machine's been hacked, you need to, like, wipe it. Back up the software that you know, like the files that are good, and then just factory wipe it. Unless it's, like, super low. And you gotta be, like, it's kind of specific about what you mean by hacked. Like, if you have malware, like, on your PC, then, yeah, you want to wipe it. And then if you're... Again, I would have to know what operating system you're on. If you're on Linux, then just wipe it. I mean, ClamAV is okay to like detect if there's like malicious files. But if you're on Windows, all you need to do is just turn on Windows Defender, wipe your PC, and then turn on Windows Defender. There's tools out there that do like virus removal, but you got to be careful because they could also be a virus in themselves. And then in reality, your best option is always to have a good backup and just wipe your PC. And even to further on it, danger zone is to prevent a file doing something malicious. So if you don't trust the file system, you don't need to. You run the PDF file in danger zone, so that even if it does infect, it won't infect you. It'll infect like that. It's sandboxed essentially. It would be very difficult for it to escape the sandbox and infect your PC. That's the point of danger zone. It's not to really like clean up, but you do have like Virus Total that you can use, a decently good free tool, where you can upload the file to see if it's malicious. Sometimes it's red flags, it's false flags. So these false flags could mean absolutely nothing, or they could mean something and it could go undetected. Malware is very complicated, and there's not really a good answer that people are going to like. 9 times out of 10, if you get if they hit you with a ransomware, as long as you have a good backup, just wipe your PC and put your shit on there, and make sure you don't like download anything from the internet without thinking. And then your second option is to get a tool like software that removes the malware from it, depending on what kind of malware it is. Yeah, I don't trust this. This looks like a government psyop. I don't see what's the point of having 200 tools. This is my only problem. 200 tools is a lot. And not only it's a lot, you're kind of like just, the thing about pen testing and actually like hacking is like you have to understand what your threat is, like what your target is. I thought about mounting the drive from the hacked machine in a VM only using. No, just wipe the drive. The malware is gone. And if it's an SSD, there should be firmware to help you securely wipe it. Malware rat APK to JPEG exploit. That doesn't. You're really just saying no offense. You're just saying like multiple words. You kind of just said malware like 4 times. Well, you said malware again. Well, remote access tool, but and then Android to like JPEG exploit. That doesn't really mean anything. But when you're actually hacking and like pen testing, you have to remember that if you're doing like web pen testing and you have like 30, like you need to like focus on like the tools that in the type of hacking you're going to do. There's no one that's just sitting out there and they're like, I know how to do SQL injection. You have an echo in this mic. I do. It's the same mic. I think it's just that I didn't tune it because I'm on qubesos. But I'm aware that it's not the peak subpar option I have out there. So when you're let me just check on my CPU. It's probably sweating. Ooh, 70%. And a little tapping noise. That's just my kneecaps cracking. The thing is, when you're actually doing like exploit development or like you're doing like any form of hacking, you need to stay within scope of what you want to do. There's Wi-Fi pen testing. There's Wi-Fi hacking. There's web app pen testing. There's physical hacking, like getting into doors, getting into SCADA systems. It sounds like a double mic. It probably is, because okay, it's not. I thought I was tripping. But I'll just mute that desktop mic audio just in case. When you're actually doing you have so many different paths you can do with hacking. It's good to have a rounded edge of like, okay, if I see Wi-Fi, I know how to break Wi-Fi kind of like efficiently. And then after I get into the Wi-Fi, I can laterally move, so I can exploit like the server side or software. Like it's going to be rounded, but you're generally going to want to stay within scope. And there's only like maybe like 5 or 6 tools, maybe 10 that you can honestly get away with like a big chunk of the time. Then there's the next step is like understanding live off the land. This is exploiting stuff that is kind of like built into the system. Like Active Directory is a huge target in Windows environments because it's got so many moving parts, and if you eventually laterally move through the system and elevate your privileges, like privilege escalation, like getting to like root, or like admin or whatever, that's generally your goal, depending. And you can do that by social engineering. Like you could be really good at social engineering and not really good at hacking, but if you social engineer your way through, and you get through that, that's really what's important. That's why when people make fun of skids, like script kiddies, I think it's not really a flex to be making fun of a person who actually compromised the system with tools. Now, is it good to like no tool, like not know anything and just skid your way through? Probably not, because no one's going to take you serious. You'll never get contracts. But getting owned by a skid is not the flex that people think is. They think it's bad, but it's really not. It's actually more embarrassing, because that means that you have such poor security posture. It doesn't really matter. There's not really a good path to, because like I said, there's so many different forms of pen testing that malware G7 versus Graphene OS. I don't know what malware G700 rat is. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. There's Android exploits probably in the wild that can penetrate Graphene OS. Malware and virus, like red team versus blue team, like thought is consistent. There's probably zero. I mean, it's in the name, zero-click exploits out there that exist that we don't even know about. Hence the name zero-click exploits. There's probably 0 days happening right now, and we'll never know. And a rat is just a remote access tool. That doesn't. It's like, I think people just they just hear the word rat and they just assume that like this is remote access Trojan, I think, or a tool. I can't remember which one. But I think people just use that word. And you said malware twice. So essentially, because like a rat is, I would consider it like a form of. I'm probably using nerds in the internet space will correct me, and rightfully so. And if it's written, it can't even be versus Graphene OS. Graphene OS is a different operating system. You know what I mean? You can't write malware for a desktop and just it's like, all right, it's going on it's going on a phone. And the thing is, you kind of have to what's the word? Jesus Christ. I hate being on tour sometimes because these fucking cuck websites are just. Like Graphene OS is a mobile operating system. There are exploits and malware that does exist. So it's for the G700 rat is for Android. It's remote access Trojan, so it's Trojan. Backdoor files, fileless malware spyware. Data theft deployment. This is actually. The Ccrax rat is a remote access Trojan. And it's actually not the G700. It's pronounced Ccrax rat. So, let's see. Unauthorized access. You have to get it through a email attachment or links leading to the infected APKs, fake apps. You kind of have to download it. No, you just gotta reboot it. You should just have to reboot it. So Android acts as a hardware backend chain of trust security mechanism that prevents malware from establishing persistence at the system level. Like, this is something that people forget. This is one of the core functions of this isn't native to Graphene OS. This is just built into like the Android ecosystem. This is what we were discovering when we were looking at the different layers of Android. First, you would have to download the malicious APK. Calling it fileless malware and then having to download an APK is kind of interesting. Unauthorized access, like random apps running in the background and the webcam activating on its own. I don't know if it can do that. I don't even know how prevalent it is. It's written in Java and C. Programming the Android targeting error is an advanced. It's an advanced variant of the C cracks RAT. G7 is a multifunctional program with extensive data stealing and functional abilities. Let's see. Is this from Virus Toll? There we go. Oh, come on, Virus Total. But Graphene OS takes proper mitigation to a certain degree. Aw, man. But it's not something that is. It's not something that's like inherently native to Graphene OS. This can be done on any Android system as long as they pick secured hardware. They have good best security practices. That's kind of like the thing. The meme essentially about it is that Graphene OS is forced to pick a pixel because other vendors don't want to like step up. Let's do this. Search G700. G700 is a sophisticated, highly stealthy remote access Trojan designed to target mobile apps, security gaps, often remaining fully undetected on Virus Total. Developed in C# and Java, this malware represents a new generation of the cracks RAT, allowing unauthentic remote access. Origin malware linked to the evolution of C from level. It is considered dangerous next-gen due to its extensive nature. I have no idea if this is even true. The internet does say a lot of shit, though. Security measures to gain full control over mobile devices. Interesting. wonder if it's possible for me to get this by hand. Well, probably. Bingo mod. I do have some outdated Android devices laying around. Maybe I should, that are like obviously not connected to anything personal. I should check them out. Unless it's one of those malwares that you have to like buy, like a lot of. What's this from? 2024. So I believe I saw this has got introduced in 2020. Is a variant of it for the Android APK, allowing to bypass security measures. Silent SMS capture. The G7 rat intercepts SMS messages, including OTPs, through an integration with the victim's SMS app. Abuse Android permissions. An outgoing crypto transaction hijackation, fake APK distribution. Hackers can deploy counterfeit Google Play Store pages to trick users into downloading malicious APKs, granting the hacker remote access control over the device. That is kind of interesting because this is one of the arguments for the Android Play Store, because if you download it through the Play Store itself, the likelihood of it bypassing the malware is pretty low. It's not impossible. It can happen, but it is pretty low. Privilege escalation. I wonder where I can get this. It's coded in C# and pocketed using DNGuard. While the APK version is written in Java, based on the provided screenshot, it is evident that G7ret is a variant of CracksRet. It indicates a close relationship between the malware families. Similar. Interesting. The developer claims that the G7 can bypass critical security measures such as passcodes and fingerprint authentication of the trusted wallet crypto application, posing a significant risk to users. The developer's code snippet below is designed to remotely manipulate and exploit security. Input capture. The latest version of the developer has added a hide SMS functionality, a bus evaluation control mechanism, malicious APK distribution, credential access phishing. And this, let's discuss the Pegasus spyware from the NSO group. It said they attempt to use the phone number for a 0-day. I mean, yeah, but it's not really interesting because, like, this is, like, honestly, like, government level access. Like, this is, like, government level shit. No, I mean, like, 0 days are gonna, like, always exist regardless. It's never going to be a non-existent, especially when money comes into it. The big issue with stuff like this, I mean, I would actually have to see this in. I would have to know this is free to, like, look at, and I would have to know if it's actually a valid type of malware. Because the thing is, when these games are made, people get nervous. The likelihood of happening to you, not zero. I mean, most malware development and most virus and most unethical hacking is done blindly because they don't care who the victim is. Like, if they're like, oh, we're just going to target this person. But if this stuff is getting like this amount of privilege, I would say that this is probably a very expensive type of malware to obtain. Obfuscation. You could even say that persistence creates a deeper APK injection. Okay. APK encryption. Interesting. I wonder how actually about. I'll have to read this. Like, this seems like a very long. Implement comprehensive security awareness programs. That's true. Invest into Android threat intelligence. Maybe. Strengthen partnerships with law enforcement. Malware is supporting the distribution of the distribution channels. Enhance application security. Deploy mobile threat detection solution. Conduct routine security audits. I don't even know if this would be even a threat in reality, or like to maybe even Graphene OS. It's interesting. I'll look more into it. It's an interesting concept. But stuff like that is highly, like, generally stuff with this much. First off, with Graphene OS, you can just not give it internet access. So that would, unless it can go beyond like that, if it's like an NSO or like a nation state malware, I'm not really worried. I mean, that sounds crazy, but it's generally in your best interest to never I mean, most people that are worried about the government like spying on them, they're not downloading anything. This is why the Google Play Service store, as long as it's not been compromised and you're not downloading random fucking apps, you could be almost pretty safe that like you downloaded a legitimate app. If you're super worried, keep track of bookmarks. And kind of have like a trust but verify threat model. Like, you have to verify that this is the correct website. You know, this is why I run a bookmark server. I do progressive web apps, especially in sandbox environments. So if something does get compromised, not all my information gets leaked. I set up storage scope with like all my apps. Storage scope allows me to kind of do some fuckery. What up, South Parade? What's up, Tony? So, what do you think about like, can Graphene OS like defend against this? Probably not. If it's allowed to escalate its privileges and bypass security measures, but if it's just a theory or if it's like nation state, well, no shit, you know. And Android, I mean, Graphene OS is pretty locked down in a sense. But again, you can, if you download an app, you could just not install the network, like have internet access, and then put it on a different profile if you're that worried. Like, you know, test it, see where it's sending its data. You can use like a DNS, like something like NextDNS to see where like all the packets are going. Or there's some like Android non-rooted Android apps that will allow you to see like where the data is going. Kind of, if you're that nervous, you can kind of like also vet it a little bit, like where's the application coming from, what permissions is it asking, and you can revoke these permissions. But if this kind of malware bypasses those permissions, then it would be somewhat useless. Root VM Android. What do you mean by root VM Android? Like run Android in a VM? I mean, you can do that. It's just... But rooting your phone is pretty retarded in general. Because you're losing VM app. What do you mean by VM app? a virtual machine app. If you root to your device, you lose all your security posture. So rooting your device like weakens your security. Hence the name, like, because you're making Android mutable, like changeable, like you're making it changeable, which is not good. But if you run Android in a virtual environment and do this, I mean, it's just not. But I don't think this is something that I can just go find. It seems like this is like some next level. So this is, oh, nice. This is they have the MITRE attack TTPS. This is actually really good information. If you ever get into pen testing, this is like there's a website for this. This is really good information to know about. It tells you the serial number, I think, is what it was. I can't. It's hard for me to remember about this because I did it so long ago. But the technique, like phishing, and then the group initial access, persistent privilege escalation, and then they generally tell you what kind of group is doing it too. There's a good website to learn how to read these kind of like documents. It's kind of interesting. Diamond model, adversary, cyber criminals, financial gain, community, C2 server, TCP, target, Android users, persistent privilege escalation, credential. So you just can wipe your device, In the dark web forums, some users are selling the G server app while others are making it freely available. This is mixed distribution, highlights the significant demand for G7. I don't know. I would have to. Developers TikTok account where it has described himself as the malware builder. This might not even be real. Data account with the side code of their project keeps private. However, they have made Android Builder and Critics Wrath available to the public space. Interesting. Developer's Twitter account created August 2024 shows no activity, 0 posts, 0 followers, no account being followed. In one of the videos posted by the hackers, yeah, I would have to see this. This kind of, that's what I'm saying, like $2,000. Examples include virtual master and for what? Oh. Runs another Android system on your device based on Android? Yeah, I would not trust this. It's interesting, but I often use a VM because TikTok blocks and bypasses proxy and DNS, so it cannot be controlled by parents. I mean, sure. I don't need to see TikTok that bad, brother. Well, no, if you're not on, I wouldn't. It's cool that it's on like the Play Store, but I don't know if I trust it, brother. Yo, Shih Tzu though. Based. Hasn't been updated in a minute though. This guy must have a 1+.